Today against Vanderbilt, we saw Brock Bowers go down with a lower leg injury. Now, initially, people were unsure as to what exactly was going on with the injury because he actually limped off the field and right after the play punched the turf in frustration. Currently, sources are saying that he has actually had x-rays on his ankle area, and so far they've come back negative. After the game, Coach Kirby Smart was asked about the severity of the ankle injury, and he essentially said it's an ankle sprain and he doesn't know how severe it is yet. Bowers is due to have an MRI, which is going to show us the severity of the ankle sprain, and there actually is a grading system for these ankle sprains, and that's something I want to focus on with this video today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. If you're not familiar with me, my name is Nick Gallo, and I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and with my channel here, I take a look at sports injuries and I explain them so that they're a little bit easier to understand. I also talk about the relevant anatomy for that injury, as well as what that person should expect when in rehab. If you like this video and you enjoy this sort of content, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel because I will be making more of these videos in the future regarding sports injuries, rehabilitation, and other physical therapy related content. Also, if you have any comments or questions, please leave those in the comment section below. Now let's go ahead and get right into the injury here. So we see here that as Bowers is running, he's going to get tackled at the end. And we see here that that left foot and ankle sort of just get tangled up right at the end there. Here I have a model of the foot and ankle. And so the ankle joint is comprised of two long bones coming down to form either side of the ankle. The first one is known as the tibia or shin bone that's going to come down and form the medial malleolus or the inside portion of the ankle. Then as we look towards the outside piece here, there's another long bone known as the fibula that's going to come down and form that lateral malleolus or the outside portion of the ankle. And then as we look on the inside portion here, this is the talus bone, which is going to form up the bottom piece. And all three of these bones together make up what we know as the ankle joint. Now, there are several ligaments that are located within the ankle to essentially contribute to overall ankle stability. The first one is known as the anterior talofibular ligament, or the ATFL for short. Anterior meaning it's towards the front of the ankle, and talofibular meaning that it's attaching the talus and the fibula together. Then as we move slightly back here, we have the calcaneofibular ligament because it's going to be attaching the calcaneus and the fibula. And finally, as we look on the back portion of the ankle here, we have the posterior talofibular ligament, posterior meaning towards the back, talofibular once again because it's attaching the talus and fibula together. Then as we flip the model over towards the inside portion here, there are several ligaments that make up something known as the deltoid ligament, which is essentially just going to be a big structure on the inside or medial portion here. Now let's go ahead and talk about a couple ligaments that are located slightly above the ankle. The first one being the anterior tibiofibular ligament, which is located right in through here. And then as we go towards the back portion of the leg here, we have the posterior tibiofibular ligament. So basically, both of these ligaments are going to be attaching the tibia and fibula together. Now let's talk about when these ligaments can be injured. So in order to injure all of the ligaments that are located on the lateral portion or outside portion of the ankle, this is going to be when a person goes in that classic ankle sprain position where the foot is going in a direction known as inversion. Then, in order to essentially injure that deltoid ligament, which is located on the medial or inside portion of the ankle, this is something known as an eversion ankle sprain, where a person's foot is going out into eversion and it's going to stress all of those structures that are located medially. And finally, something known as a high ankle sprain, where it's going to essentially provide some sort of force where there is going to be a stress pulling the tibia and fibula away from each other. That can implicate those high ankle ligaments. Now, usually when it's reported that somebody has an ankle sprain, they will usually differentiate whether or not it's a high ankle sprain or just a regular ankle sprain. In this case, they have not said it is a high ankle sprain. So essentially, based on what we have right now, we can rule out the involvement of the high ankle ligaments. So it seems like we're dealing with either medial or lateral sprains. As we look on the injury video here, it's that left foot that essentially gets tangled up as the defender comes in to make a tackle. I have a right foot model here, but essentially what's happening is as that defender is coming in to make a tackle, he's putting a force coming laterally to medially, which if that foot can stay planted, then that can put that force going through the ankle, which is known as that eversion ankle sprain. So it looks like to me, when we take a look at the video here, that as he's being tackled, that force is coming lateral to medial, which is going to implicate that deltoid ligament. There is a possibility too that he's getting some sort of an inversion strain here as well. It's really tough to see on the actual injury video, but we know for sure that he's dealing with a sprain of either the medial or the lateral portion. Now, obviously, if we get somebody in the clinic and we don't know whether or not it's an inversion or an eversion ankle sprain, the first thing we do is we just say, hey, where is your ankle hurting? If they point on the medial portion or the inside portion, we know it's consistent with an eversion ankle sprain. And if they point towards the outside portion, we know that's consistent with an inversion ankle sprain. If we want to push it a little bit further, we can do something known as a Taylor tilt test. And essentially what we're going to do here is we take the person's foot and we're going to tilt that talus whether or not we are going inversion or eversion with it. And basically what we do this for is we can essentially differentiate whether or not it's the ATFL, the CFL, the PTFL. We can also split up those deltoid ligaments to determine which one exactly is implicated in the injury. And also what we're doing is we are feeling for laxity in the ankle. Laxity in the ankle usually is accompanied by a partial or a complete rupture of the affected ligament, and that takes us to the grading system of these ankle injuries. So it is a grading system of grades 1, 2, and 3. In a grade 1, this is where we're getting stretching of the affected ligament. In a grade 2, this is where you're getting partial tearing. And finally, in a grade 3, this is where you're getting a full rupture. In a grade 3, this is absolutely when we feel a lot of laxity when we would do something like that Taylor tilt test. It can also feel lax when it's a grade 2 and you get some partial tearing. But it's very important to say that they are on the right track here with having the MRI, because that is absolutely the gold standard. That's going to tell us the severity of the ankle injury and the severity of the ligament damage. Now let's go ahead and talk about general recovery time. Anytime a person is dealing with a grade 1 ankle sprain, this is anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks to full recovery. In a grade 2, because you're getting some partial tearing, this can be anywhere from 3 to 6. Finally, in a grade 3, you're getting several months. This is because you have a full ligament rupture. And usually because with a full rupture, you're getting so much instability at the ankle, this is going to require surgical intervention, which can prolong the person's time out of sport even further. Anytime we get somebody in the office, whether or not they have a grade 1 or a grade 2, we're going to follow that initial acronym RICE, where R stands for rest, I stands for ice, C stands for compression, E stands for elevation, to essentially make the person as comfortable as possible. We want to get as much swelling and inflammation out of the affected joint. Then as the person starts to get better, we can start working on range of motion, we can start working on strengthening, and finally, based on essentially how they are presenting at that point, we can start working in sport-specific movements when they are appropriate. So obviously, in the case of Bowers, the best case scenario is going to be a grade 1 ankle sprain. Worst case is going to be a grade 3. So we're going to need to wait and see the result of that MRI to essentially find out how long he's going to be out from the sport. If I happen to hear anything, I'll be sure to update everybody in the comment section. Also, if you happen to hear anything, please feel free to update me as well. So we wish him the best of luck moving forward. I'll be on the lookout for that MRI report. If you enjoyed this content today, I'm going to go ahead and link another playlist of mine so that you can look at some of the other injuries that I've explained. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.